Yo, 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 this is Lee Laurent, and as always, I'm here rocking with all Urban Central. And it seems like Unc and the big OG is at it again. We have 50 Cent on his Instagram talking about Dame Dash. But this time, instead of criticizing him, it actually seems as if he's trying to support him and enlighten him. It seems these days that Dame Dash cannot catch a break. With his Roc-A-Fella stake going into auctions, having several different lawsuits against him, previous debts, child support, it looks like he really can't win. But instead of 50 Cent actually trolling Dame Dash this time, seems like he took to Instagram to share some enlightening words to encourage him, which, if I'm being honest, is pretty big of fifth. You know, he lives to troll people. But anyway, we're going to go and check out his Instagram. So right now, we're on 50 Cent's official Instagram page. And as you can see, he actually dropped a post in regards to Dame Dash. So in the post, he's referring to a Source article headline, and it says Dame Dash ordered to sell film studio and streaming network to cover unpaid debts. It actually seemed like in the caption that 50 Cent was sending a bar, like he was rapping. But he basically said, "Yo, Dame, where you at? Bounce back." He said, "A little stress, but no depression. A little setback is just a lesson. You get a little arrogant, you lose a blessing." And he's saying basically, you know how to win, so just win. I think that's 50 Cent showing tough love. And unfortunately for Dame, it seems like tough love is probably the only type of love he can afford at this time. And he's lucky enough that 50 Cent is able to give it. But as we know, Dame Dash has recently been publicly humiliated online and through various media platforms as they publicly discuss his financial woes. Obviously, he's behind, and a lot of payments from his streaming company to child support payments. And obviously, he just had a big setback with his stakes for Roc-A-Fella to 33% being in a public auction. But I don't think they actually sold. So he's trying to make sure he can pay off all his debts, but ultimately, he's just broke.
Somebody asked me how I got so broke. Investing in my dreams. You know, when you're investing in your dreams and you dream big, you're always gonna be broke. You'll have a lot of shit, but I don't have no money for nobody else. That's what you call broke. But that's what it is. Long dreams. But either way, I'm gonna get with y'all. Stay tuned. I'm curious to see how it all rolls out. But you know, if we got.
It appeared that entrepreneur and hood business mogul Dame Dash has been experiencing a lot of financial problems. And so when the Source magazine dropped their headlines that he's now ordered to sell his film studios and streaming networks, that was his last piece of independent money that he was making. We're going to go and check out this article. 50 Cent swallows his pride and encouraged Dame Dash to bounce back from his financial woes. And so the article pretty much outlines exactly what we read on 50's page. Despite 50's and Dame's previous past, 50 took to Instagram just to share some encouraging words, especially now that Dame Dash is ordered to give away his streaming platform and his filming company in assets just to pay off some lawsuits that he owes debt to. And pretty much the article just reiterates the quote that we already read on 50's page as the caption, essentially just encouraging Dame Dash to get back on his feet and win again. Obviously, there's setbacks, and he's a winner, so if he's done it before, he can do it again. Previously, Dame Dash was pretty mysterious about his overall net worth, as the net worth displayed pretty much showed that he was in debt and not as rich as he proclaimed. But lately, he has been pretty transparent about his financial status. You can even see in his late interview that he did back in 2015 for The Breakfast Club, he kind of speaks about how he makes money and lose money.
Like, one day I have a lot of money, and then the next day I don't.
Although over 20 years ago now, it seems like Dame Dash has had a hard time bouncing back from the ending of his friendship with Jay-Z and obviously the departure of his business relationship as well. We're getting more into the origin, and if you guys don't know the story of how Dame Dash and Jay separated, as far as Roc-A-Fella, which they both created, and Dame was a partner. But Dame definitely had stakes in Roc-A-Fella, as well as percentage and stakes in Jay-Z's Unreasonable Doubt album. It seems like he was holding on to that until finally all of his financial problems came crashing at him. And so we saw headlines in which he was actually ordered to sell those stakes to pay off his previous debts and lawsuits in an auction. So to be more specific, back in November 2024, the court ordered to have Dame Dash's stake, 33%, and Roc-A-Fella Records be auctioned off to satisfy previous legal debts that he owed. So one of the biggest debts he had was from film producer in which he created a film with, Josh Webb, in the movie they created, Dear Frank. So film producer Josh Webber was granted the lawsuit of $823,000. However, Dame Dash owed even more money. He owed $8.7 million in back taxes, and he also owed just under $1 million in child support. So this whole auction was supposed to cover all of his legal financial obligations. And he probably could have sold his Roc-A-Fella stakes until Jay-Z went online and essentially backdoored Dame Dash once again, and by making a public statement stating that his album Reasonable Doubt and master recordings that obviously all pertained to Dame Dash's stake that he had would all return back to him in 2031, which completely devalued Dame Dash's stake and obviously made people not really want to buy it.
And at the temperature, the way the world is starting to roll out, I think it's justified that I wanted not to be around certain things and morals and principles. And I think I made the right decision.
We honestly wonder if Jay and Dame will ever get back to the way they were. Obviously, the origin of their stories is that they created Roc-A-Fella together, as well as his clothing brand. However, Dame Dash feels like Jay-Z did backdoor him by making a deal and creating his own label, Roc Nation, and obviously selling Roc-A-Fella and leaving him out of the deal. It seems like Dame is willing to reconcile with Jay. However, he does have some conditions and has been alluding in several interviews that he would definitely reconvene and reconnect with his brother if he would make some arrangements with the people that he's around and associate with, calling them, and I quote, all morally corrupt.
And again, like there's things, and I don't want to get into it, that morally I can't be a part of, and I'm not going to get into it.
No, I understand that part. I understand that part.
There's things active that are like morally.
Yeah.
But if he could just shed all the things that I don't like immorally, and all the people that have done things that are doing things that, morally I can't fuck with, and if we could just fuck with just family.
The departure in friendship between Jay and Dame has always gone back and forth. Obviously, you can see both sides. You can see where Dame feels like morally he can't understand how Jay would kind of leave him behind and not do business with him. But on a business standpoint, many will agree that Jay had the best idea by separating himself from Dame business-wise. So it's actually really cool to see the support from 50 Cent, who comes from the same background in the streets as Dame Dash, especially with all of his success in film on the Stars Network with Power. However, they have had previous back and forth where 50 Cent troll him for the viral moment of Dame Dash's teeth falling out.
Yeah, I would get with homie. If he want to work, we could work. I'm never mad at generals linking up. So, again, I wouldn't even have acknowledged him if I didn't think he was worthy of an opponent. A lot of niggas talk shit. I don't acknowledge him, but 50. Oh, yeah, let's go.
Dame Dash, 54 years old, has seen money come and money go, and making a lot of money with his friends in the street and business-wise. Obviously, with the success of Jay-Z, he built an empire. So essentially, he should be able to do it again. And we're happy to see that 50 Cent is encouraging him instead of trolling him. But anyway, what do you guys think?